What's up, Acolyte Squad? My name is Prince and I'm an urban acolyte. Let's talk about Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse and all this news that is going around regarding Spider-Man, Jamie Foxx, the Spider-Verse, all of that. Hey man, what y'all think about my Miles Morales that I'm rocking right now? Anyway, so if you haven't heard, Jamie Foxx has been cast as Electro in Spider-Man 3. That is the same character that Jamie Foxx played in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, the one with your boy Andrew from the Facebook movie that when Sony was doing their own Spider-Man thing before things tanked, the bottom fell out, and Marvel stepped in and said, yo man, we need to take over Spider-Man, bring him into the MCU, and we're bringing our own Spider-Man in as Tom Holland, who in my opinion is the greatest Spider-Man. Some people disagree with me, but hey man, have you seen Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire do a backflip like Tom Holland can do? So anyway, this news about Jamie Foxx returning to the Spider-Man movies as Electro comes from The Hollywood Reporter. And what a lot of people were initially thinking about this news was that it would be a crossover somehow. Jamie Foxx's Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 through the magic of the multiverse, or the Spider-Verse in the case of Spider-Man, would be coming into the Marvel Cinematics universe. But that is not the case. Jamie Foxx said on his social media that he's super excited to be part of it. He won't be blue in this one. He later deleted that post from his social media, but the news that we have now is that Jamie Foxx is playing a new version of Electro. And hey, just me personally, this is what I think they should do with the character, right? You have the idea of the multiverse. If you remember from the Arrowverse, DC is already doing this whole Infinite Earths type thing. Marvel is just now delving into this with everything that went down that we learned from Endgame, that you make alternate timelines and whatnot, and then the multiverse of madness and WandaVision are really going to get into this idea of parallel. Well, I guess Ant-Man kind of kicked it all off, but WandaVision and the Doctor Strange movies are really going to just run wild with that. And if we see it later in other MCU projects, it'll make more sense, right? You have doppelgangers that exist in other realities, right? The rumor is that Tom Cruise is going to be the Tony Stark, the Iron Man in one parallel universe that we're possibly going to see as a cameo in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie, right? So why can it not be the case that Jamie Foxx's Electro is the same character but on Earth 616? And within the MCU, they believe they are Earth 616. Now, within the greater Marvel comic universe, we know it's Earth 19999, right? However you want to say that. But even though that's what Earth it really is, the MCU, they believe they are Earth 616. For them, that is the Earth 616 just means the canon Marvel universe, right? So for them, they are the canon Marvel universe. That's how we'll understand Earth 616, right? So on Earth 616, this guy that becomes Electro, right, it can happen there too, just like it happened on whatever Earth the Amazing Spider-Man happened in, which is part of Sony's Spider-Verse. One of their Spider-Verses, another one where Tobey Maguire Spider-Man exists, another one where Miles Morales, another one where Peter B. Parker exists, right? It's the Sony's Spider-Verses are part of that multiverse of madness. Possibly. That's what I'm really asking you guys to consider in this video, is that are the Spider-Verses, the Sony Spider-Verses, are they crossing over with the MCU at some point, right? Just and Jamie Foxx being cast as Electro could introduce that. Now, here's an interesting concept. This gets into the idea of the Spider-Verse crossing over with the MCU. Electro is an original member of the Sinister Six, right? So you've got all these different iterations of the Sinister Six, but we're going all the way up here to the top, right? So the original incarnation, I'm highlighting this, the original incarnation of the group was organized by Dr. Octopus and consisted of Vulture, Electro, Mysterio, Sandman, and Kraven the Hunter. Now, some people think that Kraven the Hunter is going to be one of the people who's hunting for Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3. That was one of the fan theories that was going around, still could be going around. I don't know. I haven't really been checking the scuttlebutt lately, but we know that Peter Parker's been revealed to be Spider-Man. Somehow he's going to have to figure out a way to get people to not think that he's Spider-Man. I possibly think that the use of Mysterio tech, since it was Mysterio who, unmasked Peter, it would make sense to put the mask back on to show that Spider-Man is capable of being in the same place at the same time as Peter Parker by using the same tech, right? That Mysterio tech, right? But one of the things is that, we thought that Mysterio was dead. Now, through the use of the technology, Mysterio's alive. Anybody could be under that, the way that they kind of set it up. Mysterio had a team. Anyone could be Mysterio at this point using that tech. So I think that we're going to still continue to see Mysterio. I believe that the Sinister Six, that is something that Sony has been trying to do, right? I think that Spider-Man 3, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, the trilogy, the next movie was supposed to be the Sinister Six, but it didn't happen, obviously. And I feel like Sony still wants to do that, but they've got the Spider-Verse, they've got Venom, they've got Carnage now, they've got Morbius, right? They're doing all of these things with these Spider-Man characters that they own, and this is how I think that you could have a crossover with the Spider-Verse, the Sony Earths, Spider-Verses, and the MCU, right? Through that whole, whether it's the multiverse or the Spider-Verse, I don't know. But the fact that Electro is a member of the Sinister Six, the original one, right? Mysterio, who we saw in Far From Home. We've seen Vulture. Vulture was in, Coming Home, or what is it? Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming, right? It'd be crazy if it's Homecoming, Far From Home, and then Coming Home. I don't know. They probably wouldn't do that because that's the same name as the first one, right? Running away from home. Spider-Man Home Alone. Right? I don't know. But where I'm kind of joking around, but seriously, I don't know. We saw Vulture in the Morbius trailer, and I don't know if that means that Morbius is happening within the MCU on Earth 616, or if, like I said, you've got the same character, Electro, on different Earths. We could have that same Vulture character in another Earth where Morbius happens, but it sounds like Morbius and Venom and Carnage all happen on the same Earth. I don't know. You're setting up some crazy things where you've got characters, doppelgangers of characters showing up, and it's kind of got the audience confused. But for now, I'm going to continue with the idea that these are doppelgangers. These are people on other Earths, and at some point, maybe you set up other people of this new Sinister Six that you're trying to run with and have them all be on different Earths, and somehow they all come together like, hey, I was homies with your doppelganger, and hey man, why don't we link up? You got this Spider-Man problem, we got this Venom problem. You see where I'm going? I think that some members of the Sinister Six could be set up on the Venom verse, or maybe other Spider-Verses that we haven't even seen yet. Maybe the one where Miles Morales exists, right? And when you have Spider-Man and Venom team up for a Sinister Six movie, I think I just jumped ahead of myself. First off, Spider-Man and Venom, according to what Charlie's saying over at Emergency Awesome, are going to team up. to have to deal with Carnage, right? Carnage and Venom have beef, and then somehow Spider-Man and Carnage are gonna, Spider-Man and Venom are gonna link up to have to deal with Carnage. Maybe you continue on with where Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man has an actual Spider-Verse movie, an actual Sony, not MCU related movie after his 3 MCU movies. That trilogy's done with, where you kind of start to set up, the Sinister Six. You then delve into Spider-Man and Venom. You have them, and now you can start to do more Spider-Man specific movies, right? Maybe here, because we know like Spider-Man and Harry Osborn, they're supposed to be friends. Norman Osborn, Oscorp. Where is all of that? Is that going to get introduced now that Iron Man is gone? That's something we thought we would see, is that Oscorp rises to take the place of Tony Stark's company, right? Or what happens with Pepper Potts? Maybe she's just like, you know what, I'm going to sell everything out. I'm going to sell out, cash my and I'll continue to be a stockholder in Oscorp, right? But Stark Industries is done because Tony Stark is dead. Iron Man's dead. Tony Stark's dead, and I'm just gonna raise my daughter, right? We know that what's the actress that plays Pepper Potts? She's done with the MCU, right? She's like, Iron Man is over, my part's done, and I'm gonna walk off into the sunset. Maybe Tony Stark's daughter comes back later. We don't know. She has to grow up first, right? But there's nothing that's been done with Oscorp, with Harry Osborn, the Green Goblin, the Hobgoblin. We know that's a big part of Spider-Man. And so I feel like where they're going is that at some point, and I guess Sony might own those characters. I don't know. They're Spider-Man characters, and we've only ever seen them in Spider-Man movies. There hadn't been any mention of Harry and Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, in the MCU, and I felt like maybe it was just we want to distance ourselves from Dr. Octopus, the Green Goblin, all of that stuff, because it's been done in the Sony movies. But I mean, those are like Dr. Octopus. Dr. Octopus was in, the Miles Morales movie, Into the Spider-Verse, right? Those are big characters for Spider-Man, right? And we've seen some of these people. We've seen Vulture, like I said. Mysterio was in the second movie. Now we're seeing Electro. We might see Kraven the Hunter. What about the Sandman? I don't know. My personal opinion is that Spider-Man 3 might tease these characters, might start to set them up, might start to set up the Sinister Six, but I also believe that this is going to be something that involves Tom Holland's Spider-Man going into the Spider-Verse, and that this is a big thing that Sony wants to do. Marvel not so much, but I don't know. Now the word on the street is that the Spider-Verse is going to be part of the multiverse that Marvel is running with, and that these characters could eventually cross over into the MCU. I know it's something that Sony wants to do, according to various sources, not secret sources. I don't have those. You can look them up. The direct.com is one of the people reporting that. Sony definitely wants to make the Spider-Verse part of the multiverse that the MCU is doing, as they continue to push these stories out into phase 4 and phase 5 and beyond. So I don't know. I mean, for me, I just want more Spider-Man. I want all the Spider-Man, right? Into the Spider-Verse 2, they're working on that. It's probably going to take 4 years to put out, but we already kind of got a little teaser of it, right? Oscar Isaac, Poe Dameron from Star Wars, also playing in the Dune movie, played in a lot of stuff, is the Spider-Man 2099 Spider-Man of the future, who is a Latino, right? And from the future, he's got tech that allows him to open up portals and travel to other Spider-Verses, right? We kind of got a tease of that, I guess, at the end of Into the Spider-Verse, the first movie, where Spider-Gwen is able to Spider Skype, Spider Skype, Miles Morales, because I guess they booed up or whatever now. So you know, we know that Sony definitely wants to have more Spider-Men. Maybe they plan on building up to this huge Spider-Verse thing that has been done in the comic books and in cartoons, animated shows, where there's many spider people and they've got to go and wage war against, you know, Madam Web or some super entity who's out to destroy the multiverse, kind of like I don't even want to say like Thanos. That's like a DC thing where you got like the Monitor, Anti-Monitor trying to wipe out everybody, right? And it's up to Spider-Man of every timeline and every reality to destroy them, because only they can, you know, traverse the web of the web of reality, right? Which is a real thing, right? That's an idea from Buddhism, Indra's web, or Hinduism actually. So it probably exists in some other cultures, but I specifically know it exists in those. So that's me kind of data dumping everything that I've been kind of reading, following on Spider-Man and Spider-Man 3, the Spider-Verse. Yo, man, I love Spider-Man. So, you know, I don't read the comic books, but hey, man, I love Spider-Man movies, and I just want more Spidey action, right? I don't know about you guys, but I do. So that's really all I've got to say on this topic for this one. But if you want more Spider-Man stuff, this is not the first time that I've covered Spider-Man at all. You know, I covered lots of Spider-Man. I've done at least 3 Spider-Man videos over the last 5 years. I just haven't done it consistently, but I'm definitely going to be covering Spider-Man more moving forward on the new iteration of Urban Acolyte TV. So anyway, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching, and y'all keep on breathing, and I'll see you on the next video.